Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's going on. That's Michael Bledsoe alongside Anthony Fleo. Michael Bullock will not be with us tonight as he is taking part of the Special Olympics Super Plunge that's going on this weekend. He is out on the beach right now, Salty Brine Beach, and he is actually doing a plunge every hour on the hour for 24 hours. They've already started the plunge earlier this afternoon, and he is in the middle of it. He's in the thick of it. He will be out there until at least 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for the big plunge that will be done with a whole bunch of people out there. So go out there, cheer on Bullock and the boys and the brave young souls that are doing this super plunge right now. All the proceeds that are going is to the Rhode Island Special Olympics, a great cause to say the very least. Bullock, you're a madman. That's all that me and Floyo can just say. You're a madman, but you're doing it for a great cause. So, yeah. Much
Absolutely.
respect for you, bro.
I don't know. I still don't know how he does it. Seriously,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
He's Superman.
So, yeah, he sure is. So, all right. Before you get into SmackDown or anything, I'd like to get your thoughts on the Obafemi segment. Fletcher and I had. Oh, all right. My good friend Jake Turner. I guess he kind of threw this one at us. Anthony, I guess this is I think we know where my friend is going with this one. This is Jake Turner, aka Trash Panda. He actually did a great event. WLW Genesis 3 is on YouTube. Go out there and watch this event. He wanted it to get our thoughts about, before you get into SmackDown or anything, I wanted it to get our thoughts on the Oba Brock segment. He's talking about Monday Night Raw. He's talking about what happened on Monday. We kind of talked about it a little bit on
Tuesday.
Ridiculously Raw on Tuesday night, but I think he never heard it, so he wants us to kind of rehash it. So, Anthony, give your quick thought on it, and then I'll give my 2 cents on it. But he wants to get your thoughts on Oba Brock and what's undoubtedly what's about to happen at WrestleMania.
It's going to be a man fight. I mean, SmackDown, when we get into it, they have their own Be a Man feud with Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. But as far as Brock Lesnar and Obafemi, I mean, this is the feud that's going to make or break Obafemi here. I mean,
absolutely.
Obafemi, after the dominance he showed in NXT, how he ruled over that brand, and Brock Lesnar, in the eyes of many have called him the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. They call him the alpha male of our species, and the beast incarnate and all that. And here's a man who has dominated WWE since the day he set foot in there. I mean, since it was after the night after WrestleMania 18. I mean, that's when we first saw him. And with everything Brock Lesnar has done, and with all the championships he's won, and being the man who ended the streak of The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and the most lopsided title match in history when he, with the beatdown of John Cena, SummerSlam 14. I mean, Obafemi has a chance to do something really special. If Obafemi goes over Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, this will show that they've got the rocket pack ready for him. I mean, that segment was incredible. I mean, I've gone on the record for a number of weeks, about a good few weeks, calling some of WWE's programming at times boring, and there are parts of it that I still feel that way about. But when it comes to the WrestleMania build, the Punk and Roman, that's felt like WrestleMania. Cody and Orton is on its way to feeling like WrestleMania. They made Oba and Brock feel like WrestleMania in one found swoop. I mean, did you see when Oba hit the fall from grace on Lesnar, and Lesnar told him, "Stand over me." He told him to stand over him, and he did that with Drew McIntyre in 2020 when Drew McIntyre laid out Brock Lesnar on the stage, and Brock Lesnar told him, "Pick up the belt, hold the belt up, stand over me." That shows you. And what happened? Drew McIntyre went on to win the title at WrestleMania. I know there have been some reports going around about Lesnar and Heyman saying that Lesnar should not lose anytime soon, maybe ever again. But in all honesty, WWE has a chance to really build a brand new star that's going to be, without a shadow of a doubt, the undisputed future of this company. And I have been high on Obafemi since his days in NXT. I took a liking to him, and it goes back to the Rumble. I believe it was Brock Lesnar who eliminated Obafemi in the Royal Rumble match, and at that moment we were starting to think it's got to be Brock and Oba. The fans were chanting for it.
Yeah.
And I know Triple H has gotten a lot of flack for his creative over the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much since the goodwill of WrestleMania 40 went by the wayside. But this is one of the rare times where I'm sitting here saying, "Oh my God, they actually listened to the fans. They gave the fans what they wanted. What a concept! What a concept!" So yeah. So for once they listened, and they gave us something to get excited about. I mean, the build still needs some work in areas, yes, but right now, the big money feuds that feel like WrestleMania and are not boring by any stretch, CM Punk and Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton are on their way, and now we can most assuredly say Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, and there's no doubt Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu are on a collision course, especially after what we saw last night. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but the segment was outstanding. I can honestly say it might have been the best opening segment that we've seen on Monday Night Raw in 2026 thus far.
And it was a great little okie doke, because there was that thought that, are we getting Brock and Seth again? Because remember, that kind of is where it kind of started. And then obviously Seth, not at 100%, but I kind of relatively speak that if we would have gone with that route, if we would have gone to that story, that maybe we've done something different. I don't know. But at the end of the day, they did the right thing. They did the right decision. To do Brock and Oba is a big money match. And it is worthy of WrestleMania consideration. Positively. The world's ready for this one. You want to sell tickets for WrestleMania. And let me tell you, they've been struggling selling tickets for WrestleMania. And, I don't know why. Because you put too much freaking money to make this impossible for us to buy tickets for WrestleMania. That's what, because you're making us try to pay for WrestleMania, yet we're paying Super Bowl level tickets for WrestleMania.
Yes.
That's where you're making a mistake. And don't even get me started with that. So, yeah. So, at the end of the day, this was exactly what it needed to be. Like you said, Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, like you say, like my guys normally say, it's going to feed families.
Yes.
For generations to come with this matchup at WrestleMania. And again, like you said, Oba could get the rocket pack on the back if he knocks off Brock Lesnar. Or if they make Oba look good and then maybe Brock weasel his way out of the victory where you know, fans won't be mad. Like, remember, Oba started the Royal Rumble. Oba started from the number one spot. And he was buzzsawing through people until I believe it was Brock Lesnar that threw Oba out of the Royal Rumble. But even then, a lot of people were not mad. They were like, all right, great showing, great performance. And a lot of people were not mad that that happened. It was like, it was perfect. It was great. Oba looked amazing. Oba had $1 million. He really shined at WrestleMania. And at the end of the day, that's what went down next. So that's exactly what we were hoping for. We got it, and it was amazing. Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar, that segment alone is, and you notice the social media reaction from it. They have over 100 million views right now around the world for that particular moment. That fall from grace that Oba Femi threw on Brock Lesnar is an iconic moment. We're going to remember it forever, you know, till we're blue in the face.
And Michael Cole's call on it.
And Michael Cole's call is iconic now. Like, that is exactly what you want. You know, you want to hype WrestleMania? That's how they did it. And they did it with that is the mastery and the beauty of professional wrestling. When you strike the iron hot and do the right thing, that's exactly what this was. So I hope that answered the question. I hope we satisfied the masses on that one. And trust me, there'll be more down the line. We're gonna have more of this. I'll provide the link of Anthony Floyo's show somewhere in the show notes or something to so that you can run back and see that what we were talking about on Tuesday night. So I'll definitely do that. So with that said, let's now get into the show itself. We'll start out with TNA, and it was the hometown man going one-on-one with Frankie Kazarian, and the hometown man win the match at 6 minutes and 19 seconds. All right. Fine opener. Maybe about a 2-star bout. But Frankie Kazarian, bro, what has happened to you? Falling off the ranks, to say the very least. Hard loss for him. I don't even know what to even say. Actually, I don't even know where TNA Creative goes with Frankie Kazarian right now, because that was a hard loss. 2 stars, Anthony. Frankie loses to the hometown man in 6:19. It's yours.
This is the kind of win that is going to cause AJ Francis and Frankie Kazarian to want to go after the mask and probably lead to a bunch of ranting and raving, which should be funny. Hometown man is not going to rise up the card in any meaningful way, but he can still be a fun act, which is all he's supposed to be. It was a nice surprise, and it made for a good open. So, right around 2.5. I think that's the appropriate rating. So, with that being said, let's move on.
All right, I'm debating if I should even continue this one, but I'll say it. Mr. Elegance going one-on-one with Action Mike Jackson. Mr. Elegance winning the match in 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Not too worried about this one, but I mean, it is what it is. It was a nice win for him. The next up we had with Ying Lee and Xia Brookside going up against Danny Luna and Ariana Grace. And it was Danny Luna and Ariana Grace taking down the Angel Warriors in 11:05. Anthony, it is yours.
3 to 3.25. It was a good way to make Danny Luna look like a killer as she smashed through Xia Brookside and won in the end. Ariana Grace continued to look like she's in over her head, which is the entire point. if nothing else, it was nice to see Xia Brookside take the pin here rather than Lei Ying Li, as she is in the upcoming title match. And little details like that can make a difference. So I'm going to give this about 3 to 3 1/4. So, MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, no doubt about it. 3 1/4, solid matchup to say the very least. And absolutely, I think this was better than expected. And, you know, could have been, it was a more solid fight. I really enjoyed it. So nothing more to say. We'll move on. Then we had Moose versus Brian Myers. Moose winning in 10 seconds. I'm not even gonna, there's no thing. What I will say is this, though. Then we had a cinematic thing, the Deadly Sins, and we had Envy. Rosemary brought ECW legend Raven, and of course, they start talking about the past with Tommy Dreamer and the whole 9 yards, and he gets Envy. So she's going through the seven deadly sins in order to bring back Allie. That's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
She's trying to bring Allie back from the dead, to bring Allie back so we can get the Demon and Bunny connection reunited. And I can't disagree with it. I kind of like it, because if we get the Demon and the Bunny back in TNA, I mean, why not?
These are two of my favorites.
I absolutely, absolutely.
You know how much I loved Allie. Come on.
Oh yeah.
He is amazing.
We don't have to rehash that, Florio. We know how much you love the blonde.
I have missed that angel face.
And I know you've been dying to see Allie for the longest time. So yeah, no doubt about it.
Her and Rosemary, let's go. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, we get it. So we got 2 out of the 5. We got Greed. We ended up getting Greed, and we ended up getting Envy. Now the question is, where do they go next? What's the next of the 7 deadly sins do they need to do in order to get us closer to the payoff? So
maybe we'll find out Thursday.
We'll find out Thursday. Next up, Elena Black versus Jada Stone. Elena Black winning the match in 4 minutes and 5 seconds. I mean, it was all right. It was fine for what it was worth. Nothing really too crazy to talk about.
Right outcome, though.
Yeah, right outcome, obviously, because you want Elena Black to be the threat. She needs to be the player to go after the title, so we'll go from there. Yeah. And the next thing that we are trying to go for, and the next thing that we do have coming up, is we had the Nemeth brothers going up against the Righteous, and it was the Nemeths winning in 11 minutes and 21 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
3 1/4, 3 1/2. The Nemeths are still a nice idea, as Nick is doing everything because Ryan is mostly useless. It could lead to the two of them splitting up down the road, just for the sake of Nick getting sick of his brother being so worthless. The Righteous are still in a weird place, but ultimately, it seems like they'll be turning on the Hardys and setting up their big match. So we'll see what happens there. But solid match here, 3 1/4, 3 1/2. So MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3 1/4, 3 1/2. Solid matchup to say the very least. Yeah, there's really not much for us to add on that one. We're just gonna move right on along, and if we do, hang on. Next thing that we had on the show was a promo segment, and that will lead us to the end of the show. So this, the promo segment that we had was Mike Santana, and this was Mike Santana and Steve Maclin. So they closed the show. Look, solid show to say the very least. I'll give this about 7 out of 10. It wasn't bad at all. Could have been better, but it wasn't too bad. And yeah, really nothing more to add. So Anthony, it is all yours.
Yeah. I honestly wasn't feeling this show so much. Most of the stories didn't do much for me. The ending segment was good, but at the same time only lasted a few minutes. Sacrifice should be a good show, but it needs something else to boost up the interest. The card's looking okay, though I could go for a second big match to come up. This was not their best show here, but it did move us closer to Sacrifice. This was about a 6.5 for me. So not much more. And with that being said, MF, we move on to Friday Night Smackdown from Raleigh, North Carolina, the home of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes, indeed, Raleigh, North Carolina. And on top of that, actually, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, y'all. For all you fans out there, that's when are we gonna get to 2 hours? When are we getting 2 hours back? June 6th. June 6th, Friday night, June 6th. USA's just announced that we're going back to 2 hours. So mark it. That's the date. We gotta wait.
Did this just like literally cross the wire, or
this was dropped about a day ago, but it was confirmed by the Variety and Hollywood Reporter, and multiple sites have announced it. June 6th, Monday Night Raw goes, Friday Night Smackdown goes back to 2 hours on the USA Network, and it's been confirmed. So there you go.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. So started off with basically it started off with a little bit of a promo segment, and it just exploded. Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, they were fighting, they went over, it went nuts, they were brawling all over the place. So leads into the first fight of the night, JC Mateo and Tama Tonga versus Damian Priest and R-Truth for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Winners of the bout in 8 minutes and 50 seconds. And new WWE Tag Team Champions, Damian Priest and R-Truth. They won the titles. Well, okay. History made. Unprecedented crowning. Yes, the Wyatts did get involved, but, you know, we knew this was going to happen. But at the end of the day, the champions fall, new champions ascend, and good for Truth and Damian, man. Whoever would have thought they were going to walk out the champions, and yeah, really nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. So, Damian Priest and R-Truth, the new WWE Tag Team Champions.
8 minutes and how many seconds?
I want to say it was 8:05. See, hold on. 850. 850.
That's about 3 stars for me. Well, right around 2.5, 3. Match itself was relatively average, but it was also a perfect illustration of how far the SmackDown Tag Team division, I'm sorry to say, has fallen. 6 months ago, this brand had several tag teams tearing the house down every night. Now it feels like a shell of its former self. So, it will always, and I'll tell you what, it would have been kind of fun for the MFTs to do the Freebird rule, but with all 5 guys, so you never knew who would be in the match until it started. And JC Mateo is so underutilized. Seeing a guy his size do a standing moonsault is always fun. It's a 2.5 to 3 star match, and I'm going to say this: there was a funny commentary moment that I had on the show last night, and this is another one of our vintage MF and Tony moment, MF and Hitman moments, where we channel our inner Gorilla and Jesse, or Gorilla and Bobby in this sense, where they win the titles. MF does the history has been made, unprecedented crowning. And I'm like, whoa, MF, there was nothing unprecedented about that crowning. What are you talking about? Yeah, that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then MF was going on about justifying it, and then you threw in, for flavor content, you threw in the I love it. Yeah, you threw that in there too, and And I kept going on and on about how this was not an unprecedented crowning, nothing unprecedented about it. But nonetheless, I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting this. I kind of had a feeling they were going to put the titles on R-Truth and Damian Priest. You know, a classic strike while the iron is hot, as they say. So they were getting over, and the fans were getting behind them, and they had to strike here. So congratulations, Damian Priest and R-Truth, new WWE Tag Team Champions. I don't know what that's going to mean for Mania when it comes to the tag team titles, but why do I have this feeling we're going to get some sort of gang warfare matchup with the Wyatt Six and the MFTs? I got this.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely. And the thing is, it's been all about that lantern, the legendary lantern that was once a token that was tradition by Bray Wyatt, and yeah, that lantern's kind of been the bane of the existence for, you know, and actually it did lead to an interesting moment because if you remember, Anthony, also that there was something else that kind of was brought to the attention, you know, and kind of triggered something else that happened in that situation. So yeah, absolutely. Nothing more to add, and we move on to the next thing that we had on the show. Motor City Machine Guns versus Fraxium. It was the Motor City Machine Guns winning in 8:05, but Anthony give an assist to Candice LeRae, and what does that mean?
Well, let me give you my thoughts on the match, and then I'll tell you. Solid 3, teetering on 3.25 for this. These are two of the teams who made SmackDown so much fun to watch last year. So it was great to see them step back into the ring together for the first time since August of last year. Both teams favor a brisk pace and use their speed and agility to put on an exciting performance. Nathan Frazier was especially fun to watch with his high-risk offense. Candice LeRae ended up interfering to help the Motor City Machine Guns pick up the win, but it seemed like Chris Sabin was unaware of her assistance when he got the pin. Even with the dirty finish, this was one of the most entertaining WWE matches of the week. And Danhausen stealing money from Candice LeRae while making her think he would remove a curse from Johnny Gargano. The speed at which Nathan Frazier runs the ropes is always impressive. And Frazier almost flew right past Sabin and Shelley when he hit a dive over the top rope because he was going too fast. So I can honestly say I know this was beyond a fun little sprint. I could say this was about a 3.25, 3.5 star match. This was very good. So what this means? Well, you know what's been going on with Johnny Gargano. I mean, could Candice LeRae possibly be trying to get the Motor City Machine Guns? I don't know. We're gonna need a little bit more. We're gonna need to see a little bit more to see what happens, but something to think about. 3.25, 3.5. MF, what says you?
Yeah, 3.25, 3.5, no doubt about it. My goodness, that's all I can say is it was a solid matchup. It was pretty good for what it was worth, and then the outcome kind of caught us by surprise. But you know, at the end of the day, it was exactly what it needed it to be, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything that went down. So really nothing more to add, and we just move on to the next thing that we had on the show. And all right, and so the next thing that we had was Randy Orton's promo. All right, I'm gonna say this. It was fine for what it was worth, but that was not the promo I was hoping Randy Orton was going to give.
No.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do. I get they're trying to make Randy look like a heel and to say the right things and the whole 9 yards. But the thing is, And he's saying that he needs the killer instinct to add to his legacy and the whole 9 yards. He's going to drop the 3 most devastating letters on Cody. And it just feels a little forced. It didn't feel authentic. And that's shocking because Randy Orton's one of the best promo guys in WWE. Like, when you hear Orton, when he gets to that sadistic type mentality, he's unbelievable. But it felt a little off. Like, I wasn't really too keen with what he was doing. I mean, I like what he was trying to do, but it just came out flat, and it was very rare, a rare swing and a miss. And I'm not going to fault Randy Orton. This is kind of more on the writers than anything else. But yeah, I don't know, Anthony. I felt a little disappointed with this promo, so it's yours.
Over the years, we have gotten several heel and face turns from Randy Orton, so it's hard to find a new angle on it. He did his best to give a promo that fit within his character, but this did not tread any new ground. And you noticed, the crowd was still cheering for Orton.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no question about it. It's not that we might end up, I got a feeling we are going to end up seeing Cody get booed when they meet at WrestleMania. I mean, Orton is too over. Orton's too over. The fans were cheering him. They were still singing his song. And I know they want Randy to be the heel here, but this is just like with Cena last year.
Yeah.
The heel turn for Cena did not work. The fans cheered him because he's too over. And that's the same thing with Randy Orton. I mean, 15 or so years ago, 10, 15 years ago, he was a damn good heel. We all know that. I mean, he was one of the best heels out there, if not the best. That he was that sadistic, cruel heel that, you know, we all remember what he used to do, especially in the Legacy days and Evolution, and from the Legend Killer to the Viper and the Apex Predator. But ever since he came back ever since they put him with Riddle, when they did that whole RK Bro thing, he was untouchable. He was over. He was over like Rover, and it never changed. And then when he came back from when he was out for a year and a half with that near career-ending back injury, when he came back at the Survivor Series in 23 in the War Games, we all remember that pop. He got a Road Warrior pop. Simple. And he's just too over. And that's why it's not, and that's why this heel turn is, as of right now, not working. They're trying, but the fans are not buying it. I mean, it pains me to say it, but they're getting sick, and they're getting tired of Cody, and it sucks. And it's just like when they were getting tired of Hogan back in, the 90s, after all those years of Hulkamania and all that. And you remember when they started turning on him, and mainly when he lost the title to The Undertaker at the Survivor Series in 91. We all remember that. So they turned on him, and eventually they did turn him heel, but that was in WCW. And then Hogan, and then when they brought Hogan, Hall, and Nash in 02, when they turned, they tried him as a heel, but the fans weren't buying it. Hogan was just too over, and WrestleMania 18, the end game there. So
Yeah.
He was just too over, and they had no choice but to turn him face. I know they wanted to try him as a heel, but they turned him back face, and that ended up being the right thing. So a lot of people are saying that if anybody was going to turn heel here, it should have been Cody, not Randy.
Yeah.
And there was one comment saying on social media saying Randy Orton is not a heel. When Randy attacked Cody, they said that Randy turned babyface there.
Yeah.
Because the fans were cheering him. They were booing Cody, and Cody's getting the Cena and Roman treatment.
Yep. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Anthony, but we got a major situation. We're going for it all for the win. Oh my goodness, it almost went in. Oh, it almost went in.
But Nebraska
and
has
Nebraska
won.
has won it. Oh my God. It almost went in. It was similar to the years of Butler and Duke in the national championship game. Oh my goodness. It was halfway home and it lived out. And it is Sweet Corn 16 for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And somewhere my good friend Carter Pillow is punching air right now because he had Vanderbilt in the win.
I did too.
Oh no.
I had Vandy winning too.
Oh my goodness. An exciting ending in Oklahoma City. He threw up the prayer, a half-court heave at the buzzer. And it hit glass. It trickles around the cylinder and does not go home. Oh my goodness. It was halfway. It was, like I said, it was reminiscent. It was reminiscent of Butler, Gordon Hayward, when he shot the half-court heave at the buzzer, and it front rimmed out and almost gave the national championship to Butler, and Duke walked away with the win. And now it is Nebraska hanging on by a thread. And give your heart to Vanderbilt. Oh my God, what a shot. It almost went home. But Vandy goes home and Nebraska survives. Oh my Lord. Wow.
Slow motion.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
It almost went in. Wow.
Could you have imagined if that had gone
Oh my
in?
God. Oh my God.
Where would that have ranked?
Pretty high up there, I'll tell you that. And we got one more game going on at this hour. There's one game left. High Point in Arkansas, and that's a dogfight right now. I believe they're tied at the moment. Yeah, 10 minutes left, and I think they're tied at the moment. Let me check quickly.
It's on TBS.
But it's on TBS. So, yep. And it is the last game of the day. So, this is it. This will end it. It is close right now, so we may have to jump back in for more bonus commentary. We did say, and then at the end, we will give a quick recap on what happened in the NCAA tournament. Next up on the show, for today's games.
And we'll set up the schedule for tomorrow too.
Yes. Next up after that, we did have a couple of promo stuff. We're gonna bypass this, but we're not gonna bypass this, Anthony. The United States heavyweight title on the line, Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes. The winner of the bout in roughly 15 minutes, and still the United States heavyweight champion, Carmelo Hayes.
What about the match with Aleister Black and Sami Zayn?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Aleister Black and Sami Zayn was first. It was Aleister Black winning the match in roughly 10 minutes. So, Anthony, you take this one.
3 1/4. These two work well as opponents because they have a lot of similar attributes while using completely different styles of offense. It's just too bad that the match felt like a placeholder before Sami Zayn and Trick Williams feud picks up steam. And the pop for Trick Williams was great. The WWE Universe has really grown to love him. And Black using a nice modified knee bar submission. I believe that we're going to get Sami Zayn and Trick Williams at WrestleMania. That's just where I think it's heading. And I wouldn't be surprised if Trick Willie ends up getting the win here. Because here's another guy who WWE seems to be very high on right now. We've seen it with Oba. And now it's definitely Trick Willie. Trick Willie is starting to get that Rocket Pack feeling. So another guy who is the undisputed future of the company, no doubt about it. And I believe he will be a future WrestleMania main eventer. You mark my words on that. Just like Oba will be a future WrestleMania main eventer also. So 3.25. MF, your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you just said there. I think that, yeah, I think Trick Williams is definitely a main eventer, to say the very least. And we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Anthony. This was about a 3-star bout. There's no doubt about it. And it is kind of setting up for Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. So we'll say that. And there's really nothing more to say after. So we're just gonna move right on along, and now we get into that championship match that we were talking about: Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov, where Carmelo wins in roughly 15 minutes. Hell of a fight, amazing battle, really good matchup. Can't go wrong with either one of these guys. Yeah, this was a great matchup and a hell of a fight, to say the very least. Honestly, I could give this easily 3.5 to close to 4, because it was that good of a match. So nothing more to say. Champion remains the champion. Anthony, great battle, to say the very least, and it's yours.
These two have never had a bad match, and most of the time they steal the damn show whenever they cross paths. It's gotten to the point that it feels effortless for them to bring the best out of each other. They fought through two commercial breaks and made the most of every minute. The initial couple of minutes was an awesome exchange. The announcers made a big deal out of Dragunov wanting to earn a rematch, but he lost his last bout, so when did he earn it? And the way Melo hit the announce table looked painful, and incredible matchup here. I definitely agree with that. 3.5 to 4. There's no question about it. This was the fight of the night for me. So very well done. No doubt about it. And quite frankly, I would like to see a best of 7 with these two, please. So
I agree.
Yeah. So in the immortal words of Sheamus, MF, banger after banger after banger after banger, and they added another one to the growing list.
Yep, no doubt about it. And it was a banger, no doubt. And this is amazing for what it was worth. So yeah. Then we had the Irreversible Forces, Lash Legend and Nia Jax versus the Bella Twins. The fight ends in a disqualification. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss were at ringside, and that led to the DQ finish. And the match ends in 7 minutes and 49 seconds. It was an all right match. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't great, but again, we understood the ending. It's gonna lead us to a multi-woman match. Like, we all know where this is gonna go. It's a multi-woman match for the title at WrestleMania. Really not much to add here. So Anthony, just a quick thought, and then we'll get into what's going on for next week.
While it wasn't a horrible match, you could see some ring rust on both Bellas. Unfortunately, it ended in a DQ when Charlotte attacked Nia for attempting to use her title belt as a weapon. The champions ended up taking out both teams. This will almost certainly lead to a triple threat bout eventually. And Nia Jax and Nikki Bella had a very slow sequence early in the bout. It looked more like they were practicing than wrestling. When Nikki hit a crossbody from the top rope, she did not jump. She dove at her opponents. It actually looked way more effective than when someone jumps higher. I have every right to give this an NA. Honestly, I do.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm gonna give it an NA. So I'm gonna honor Bullock here tonight. Bullock, if you're watching, this one's for you, buddy. It's an NA, no doubt about it. This is definitely an NA, and I know you've got some house cleaning to tend to, MF, to set the table for next week in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And we have a match that involves this story here.
Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Bella Twins. They're going to be in the tag team match. We're going to get Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson in a one-on-one. And Julia versus Tiffany Stratton. We thought WrestleMania. They're doing it on SmackDown next week.
Wow.
Women's U.S. title on the line. Tiffany Stratton, Julia, 1-on-1 for the gold.
Let's
next
go.
week. So, and then, the main event segment was Randy Orton saying that he was going to apologize to Matt Cardona. Cardona and Orton had a little bit of an issue from earlier in the evening, and it didn't end well for Cardona because Orton heard the voices in his head and attacked him. Not a big beatdown like he did with Cody, but again, the fans were eating it up. The fans were loving every minute of it. So again, if you're trying to make Orton look like a heel, it's not working. Again, the fans are rallying around Orton, and they were even yelling one more time after he supposedly broke the arm of Matt Cardona. So I'm telling you, Cody and the boy, if you're creative, you're in trouble right now because if the fans are supposed to be booing Randy Orton or trying to get a negative reaction, it's not working, guys.
Nope.
Unless you bring The Rock and do this Cody Soul thing again, that's the only way Orton's going to be a heel. Or if you get Triple H as the corporate heel again. But until then, it's not working. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, been there, done that in that regard. The Authority, remember that?
Yep.
Orton, face of the WWE, we all remember that. Randy Orton was shown talking to someone on the phone before the final break. He said he was going to head to the ring to fix it. When he got to the ring, he asked Matt Cardona to join him. He apologized for how he treated him earlier in the show. Cardona appeared to forgive him, but then Orton kicked him below the belt, hit an RKO, stumped on Cardona's arm while he was wrapped in a chair, despite several officials trying to talk him down. But what about what happened after that? Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre fighting outside the arena, and they ended up falling on an elevated platform out of view as the show went off the air. That's something to think about for next week as well. Yeah. What's the condition of those two? So, like I said earlier, Orton is too over. If anybody should, if they turned the wrong guy, it should have been Cody. It honestly, Cody should have been the one that turned, not Orton. And especially at this stage of Randy Orton's career, where he has turned his life around, because he was a wild one. He was a wild one back in the day. He was an animal, let me tell you. He did a lot of heinous things back in his Legend Killer days. You know the stories. And all these years later, I think it was ever since he married his wife Kim Orton, and became a father to all those kids. That turned his life around, and they brought him back, like I said, with Riddle, and then came back at the Survivor Series after being out a year and a half after his career. We thought his career was over after that back injury.
He had a back and neck, but it was mainly the back that he was trying to get from. Yeah.
And it was and they brought him back at the Survivor Series in 23 and the War Games, and from there he was just too over. The fans love him too much. They sing his song. They kept cheering him. They tried to turn him heel. He tried saying all the heel things, but the fans,
it's not working.
Not buying it.
It's not working. It's not working.
As much as I hate it, I would have hated to see it because of how much I love the guy. They should have turned Cody. That would have worked better. That would have fed families right there. If Cody had if they had turned Cody and not Orton. But you said it, MF. It's gonna take. Who is he talking to?
Yeah.
My gut is telling me it's got to be The Rock. It has to be. maybe they'll have The Rock redeem himself from last year with Cena. He should have. The Cena turn should have happened at Mania, not the Chamber.
Yeah.
If they had done that at Mania, that's the only way it would have worked. The only way. But Cena was too over, and so was Orton. Should have been Cody. So he's not a heel, folks. He's not a heel.
Yeah.
Take my word for it. Overall review.
All right. More positive than negatives. But it was an apples to oranges type show. Not strong, but it was fine. About 6 to 6.5 for me. It could have been better, but nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Friday SmackDown had some high highs, but also had some low lows. So it ended up evening out to a pretty average show. The two biggest highlights were Fraxium versus the Motor City Machine Guns and the U.S. title bout with Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov, which was definitely the best WWE match we got this week. Randy Orton's story throughout the episode was an interesting path to follow, especially with the mystery of who he has been talking to in the background. WWE still has a lot of work to do when it comes to making WrestleMania 42 must-see. So the next few weeks are going to be very interesting as we get closer to the biggest event on the wrestling calendar. And Monday night MF, Monday night, Raw, Boston. They got to hit a home run. Just like they did in San Antonio this past week. They hit a home run in San Antonio this past week. They got to do it again in Boston. And especially Madison Square Garden. And that also goes for SmackDown too. I mean, Pittsburgh. That's where you boys are heading next week. So,
yep.
And they're a pretty decent crowd. I mean, remember the 2014 Royal Rumble, the whole Daniel Bryan stuff.
Yeah.
And we all remember how rowdy and vocal that crowd was. So we need that energy, Pittsburgh. And creative, come on. We're a month away from your biggest show of the year. And outside of Punk and Roman, Oba and Brock.
You got at least 4 matches right now that kind of stands out that we can hang our hat on for WrestleMania.
That feels
but
like it.
Yeah, like you said, there needs to be more than just 4 major matches. Because like you said, Punk and Roman, the Cody and Orton, Oba and Brock, and Drew versus Jacob. Those are the 4 right now because we're not really caring about Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. Not as much as we were.
Yeah, what happened with that segment last night? Make it make sense where you all of a sudden have Michin and B-Fab joining forces with Jade. Make that make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. And then obviously, if they can work it correctly, we may have something decent with the women's tag team titles. I mean, it looks promising, but it's not,
At least the triple threat right now.
But it's just there. Yeah, at least a triple threat. So, there's a lot. But also,
watch out for Lyra and Bailey, and watch out maybe even for the Kabukis, maybe.
Yeah. So, there's a lot going on here that we really need to see going into WrestleMania, and it's just kind of, I don't know. We'll wait and see. So let's go quickly into, for the moment.
Yeah.
Not everything is perfect. It's just, we'll see how it plays out.
You got a month, WWE. You got a month, Triple H. Come on. Take over the world like you did with NXT. Come on.
Yep. So let's get into AAA quickly. The Reyes, week number 2, that went down here tonight. They just finished the show actually just a short time ago. We started off with a 6-person tag team fight. La Hierra and the Money Machine, Garra de Oro and Camalo de Plata. They went up against a team of Rey Fenix, Mr. Iguana, and Lola Vice, and it was Lola, Iguana, and Rey Fenix, winning the match in 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Then, in a special promoted thing after the match, Chelsea Green basically like, yeah, I'm still a mixed tag champion. I never lost the belt because I got hurt. Typical man messed it up for me. So, and she's like that. She doesn't need a man. Declared herself the mixed AAA mixed women's tag team champion. Only Chelsea Green. What else can you expect from a beautiful baby girl like that? I don't know. Somebody help me out with that one. Try to make me understand. Actually, no. Don't. Forget I said that. Anyway. So next up we had was Psycho Clown and Pagano representing the Psycho Circus versus Eric and Ivar of the War Raiders. The fight gets thrown out in 13 minutes and 28 seconds. It's a double DQ. They lost control of this fight. The referee had no choice but to throw it out. This was insane. Great matchup. Good battle. I'm not mad with the loss either. Next up we had was the next thing that we had after that was the moment, the coronation of next week on AAA, the final week of the Reyes. One match has been announced. It will be El Pascal versus Abismo Negro for the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. And El Hijo del Vecino is supposedly going to confront Penta. Rumors going around that El Hijo del Vecino may challenge Penta for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. I know. I heard something from you, Florio, when you heard that.
I was saying count it in the foul as I'm watching this game right now with High Point in Arkansas. We just had one of those moments.
All right.
Where I would say count it in the foul and you would do your yes and it counts. I mean.
Yep.
But I did read some rumblings about this. I mean, Penta and Vikingo for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Sign me up and that'll feed some families for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So they actually did bring out a whole bunch of people for the moment to present the Rey de Reyes, the winner of the title, and it was El Hijo de Vecino. No, it wasn't El Hijo de Vecino. It was a Grande Americano. He comes out, talking, promoting, how much this moment meant to him, and talking about the Pena family, everything else. He got the sword. The sword is like their version of the crown to present. And then Dominic comes out, and after that, the original El Grande Americano shows up and beats up on the new El Grande Americano, and they do the beatdown. They did the beatdown and everything else. And I'll say this. He almost took the mask off. Like, he was ripping at the mask, and he almost took it. Until Bravo and Ryo came out to shoo him away, but he got dangerously close from unmasking him. Oh my goodness, that would have been epic. But yeah, so the storyline continues. Nothing more to say on that one. And well, before we get on out of here, folks, we said we were going to give you the thoughts on the Saturday action. So let's do it. Let's run it down one time. The Saturday scores of the NCAA tournament. So, okay. Let's see where we go. All right. So we started it earlier today at high noon. It was Michigan, the number 1 seed in the Midwest region. They went up against St. Louis. Michigan had an early scare earlier in the game, however, was able to drop the hammer and took them out. They won the game by the final score of 95-72. It was Littenberg for Michigan leading the scoring, had 25 points and 6 rebounds in the win. Michigan is off to the Sweet 16. Then it was Duke versus TCU, and it was Duke. They had a scare in round number 1, barely beating Siena. They had no trouble with TCU tonight, winning it 81-58 was the final score. Cameron Boozer, a double-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 steals in the victory for the Duke Blue Devils. They move on to Washington, D.C. and the Sweet 16. Then, the next game that we had on the docket was the 2 seed in the South region. It was Houston going up against the number 10 seed Texas A&M Aggies. Houston dominates from beginning to end, winning the game 88-57. Like we said, stunning an absolute clinic by the Houston Cougars. They're off to Houston for the regionals as well. Then we go back to the East region. The number 3 seed Michigan State Spartans going up against the number 6 seed Louisville Cardinals. Michigan State wins it 77-69. Was a pretty good matchup for a little while there in Buffalo, but at the end it was an easy victory for Michigan. Sparty goes back to another Sweet 16. They are awaiting the winners tomorrow of the big one. That's the UConn versus UCLA game. They will face off Michigan State in the regionals on their end. That game will be held tomorrow. Then we had an exciting one and an upset. The Texas Longhorns, hook 'em horns, they take down the Gonzaga Bulldogs. 74-68 was the final score. It was Vicchonis, 17 points and 9 rebounds with the victory for Texas. They move on as they go to the West Regionals. They are now in the Sweet 16. The other game that we had not too long ago was also Illinois winning 76-55 over VCU. They are going to Houston. They are going to the regionals as well. And the game that we were covering, or a bonus commentary just a few minutes ago, or a short while ago, it was Nebraska taking down Vanderbilt 74-72 in an exciting game. And that game has been, I guess you could say, the game of the day up to this point. But we do have an exciting ending right now. High Point and Arkansas in the West region. And right now it is Arkansas 87-83, currently in the lead with 1 minute and I want to say 1 minute and 20 left in the second half. So we will now do the bonus commentary of that game right now. It's actually 1 minute 30 left. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. So we are going to get into that game right now, Anthony.
Yeah.
And it is Arkansas and High Point as basically trying to drive the lane here. And it is, no, got taken away and it's stolen. Stolen, Arkansas with it, with 1 minute 19 remaining. And now Arkansas trying to work some clock here. Pasika looking. He's going to put a 3. Pasika with a 3. 90-83. And we're under 1 minute remaining. Ribbon. Oh, whoa. What they call? Foul? Timeout? Timeout, High Point. Timeout High Point with 46.5 seconds left. Pasica with a humongous three-pointer. And this is the number 4 seed versus the number 12 seed. As this was the big matchup. This is actually in the West Regional. And now Arkansas looking to try to slam the door on this game here. And then we will give you a quick note of the games that are going to be held tomorrow. So, what? And all right, that's the games we're gonna have for tomorrow. So I'll set the table for that in just a matter of moments. Arkansas currently up by 7, 90 to 83. And we're just about ready to go. All the guys coming back on the court, like we said. And here we go. And now they're going to try to throw this in. This is an inbound opportunity. And a timeout, as they were getting a little nervous there because of the 5-second count. He was getting up there on the 5. And here's the problem. High Point has now burned their last timeout. There are no more timeouts for High Point. So they are out of timeouts. And Arkansas have 2 timeouts remaining in their game. And we're just waiting. They're just strategizing right now. And Anthony, I mean, a lot more blowouts today than there was, the first couple of games. We had some blowouts early, but I mean, Duke, a lot of people thought Duke was going to struggle, but they did get Malawash back, which was a huge boost in the arm for Duke. And you saw that you noticed the difference with Malawash out, how Duke struggled with him in. Oh boy, Duke looks like the national championship contender.
I think you're thinking of Patrick Ngagba there.
Yeah.
Yeah, his presence was sorely missed for Duke, and let me while we have this lull here with the timeout here, as far as today's action goes, I mean, I know the one thing that everybody looks forward to when it comes to March Madness is getting some screaming Michael Fletcher moments. Unfortunately, you didn't get any of that today.
Nope.
After 3 games worth of them, the first 3 games that he had on Thursday, up until that dud at the end. And looking at today's action, I was looking forward to that St. Louis, Michigan game. And for the early going, it was an exciting game. But it was Michigan who turned on the burners in the second half. And it was a lot like the Howard game. I mean, you remember Howard gave him fits in the first half, and then Michigan took charge in the second half, and a little more of the same today with St. Louis. So no surprise with the outcome. Michigan moving on. Louisville and Michigan State. Louisville hung in there, but it wouldn't be March Madness without Tom Izzo and Michigan State going on a run. Now would it? I mean, you and I both know what Tom Izzo and Sparty are capable of at this time of the year. We know this.
Absolutely.
They've gone on several big runs, won a national championship in 2000, got back to the title game in 2009 before North Carolina blew the doors off them. And but they've always had Sweet 16, Elite 8, maybe Final 4, for many years. And I can't say it enough. Tom Izzo, man. 28 can you believe that? 28 consecutive years he has taken the Michigan State Spartans to the NCAA tournament. That is amazing. And and as we always say, he just gets better with age. He ages like fine wine. That's what he does. So
Yeah.
major big ups to the Tom Izzo. Duke. I mean, TCU hung with Duke. I mean,
they did. First
it was
half. First half was definitely an interesting game.
38-34, and then Duke took charge in the second half. And what they did today with TCU, that's what they should have done against Siena. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There should not have been a scare at all. But I know all the Dukies out there are rejoicing. I know you had a much easier game today, and my good friend from my job who I work with, the one who was getting into it the other day. I mean, awesomeness there. But I know she's got to have a big sigh. I'm sure she had a much more relaxing day than the other day. Houston, MF, I know you're not a big Kelvin Sampson fan. I know you took umbrage to those recent comments he made about Duke, but you can't argue with the results from today. I mean, so far the first two games, they've done what they were supposed to do, take care of business, and they have not been tested yet. And watch out for Houston, man. Houston's on a mission. Houston is on a mission to get back to that championship game, and they're going home. They're going home to Houston. They got a couple of de facto home games coming up.
Yeah.
At the Toyota Center. So they're right in their own backyard. So watch out for Houston. That's a team we got to keep an eye on. Oh, Gonzaga. Oh, man. I'm gutted. MF, you know how much I love Gonzaga. I mean, I fell in love with that team in 1999, and what an incredible run for that team. And you talk about Tom Izzo. What about Mark Few? He's taken the Zags to the tourney 26 straight years, and for it to end against Texas. And how about Texas? A first four team. Remember, they had to play in the first four.
Yeah.
And they're still dancing.
And they're still going. Yep.
They are the Cinderella story of this tournament so far.
They are the Cinderella this year. And the thing is, they're not really a Cinderella. Coming from the SEC, they're not a Cinderella by a long shot.
Mainly because they're an 11 seed.
Yeah, but because of their ranking.
Oh, I think we have some finishing up to do with Arkansas here.
Yeah, basically it is 93-88 with 8 seconds left. It's practically all but clinched. Arkansas is going to knock out High Point.
Okay.
And
I'll finish my thoughts here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another team to keep an eye on, the Illinois Fighting Illini. I mean, we all remember, I think VCU, I think they just ran out of gas after that insane comeback against North Carolina on Thursday night. And I think they just ran out of gas, and that comeback just took so much out of them. And Illinois, you remember Illinois had an easy time with Penn, and they had an easy time with VCU, and they did what North Carolina should have done. They kept their foot on the gas, and they slammed the door the way it should have been slammed. And great run for VCU, but Illinois moves on. And no doubt about it, the game of the day, the game of the night, Vanderbilt and Nebraska, 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. And how about the Nebraska Cornhuskers? I mean, we keep saying it. They've always been a football school. You remember Tom Osborne and what he did for Nebraska, winning all those championships in like the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. But it is what it is. And it looks like Arkansas has just about wrapped it up here.
Yep, they have indeed. It is now a final. It is 88. It's 94-88. And it is Arkansas. They have advanced. They are going to San Jose and the West Regional. So we got 2 of the 4 now in the Sweet 16. The other two will be determined tomorrow. So we'll get into that in just a minute. Anthony, give us your final your finishing thoughts, and then I'll set up the table for tomorrow's NCAA action.
Yeah, Nebraska defeating Vanderbilt 74-72, the game of the night, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And these are the kind of tournament games we live for. And we're not really fans of blowouts. I mean, we usually get bored during those. Those are boring, but that game was anything but boring. That game had us on the edge of our seats from start to finish. And credit to both teams. Vanderbilt had a great year going to the SEC finals before losing to Arkansas in the championship game last week. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers, I mean, we can't get over it. Like I said, football school for so many years. I mean, I know they lost their luster. I mean, they're not much of a football school anymore. They're not that dominant team like they were in the 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s, winning several championships, the legendary Tom Osborne and all the legends that came out of the football program. But they're doing for basketball what Indiana did for football. I mean, the Indiana Hoosiers were always known as a basketball school. And then what did the football team do? They went on to win the national championship. And they had the greatest year in the history of their football school. They have arrived as a football program. And Nebraska is now starting to slowly arrive as a basketball school. And incredible story for them. Nebraska winning. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Nebraska Cornhuskers are coached by one of our former Chicago Bulls, Fred Hoiberg.
Yes, he is.
What a story, man! Fred Hoiberg, who was on the Chicago Bulls, and what he's done for Nebraska. Nebraska was never a basketball school. I never ever recalled them being a basketball school until now. It is high time we put some respect on those boys' names, and I'm going to be honest with you. There's a part of me that's pulling for those guys, honestly. What a story that would be if they keep doing what they're doing. So big ups to Nebraska. And then Arkansas and High Point. I'm not at all surprised that High Point pushed Arkansas to the limit. I had a feeling they were going to. But this Arkansas team's for real. They won the SEC tournament, and they got that momentum, and of course, we can't forget about it. We talked about it with Tom Izzo. We talked about it with Mark Few. But what about John Calipari?
John Calipari, yep.
UMass, Memphis, Kentucky, and now Arkansas. 30 plus years or so as a coach, and he's doing one of his personal best coaching jobs that I have seen, probably since he took Kentucky to the national championship in 2012. I mean, just absolutely incredible what Calipari has done. And Arkansas had a lot of great teams back in the day with the likes of Nolan Richardson, the infamous 40 Minutes of Hell, and
the 40 Minutes of Hell, yes.
And they went on to win the national championship.
That was in 1994. Upending Duke in Charlotte, North Carolina, when they won the Final Four.
Scotty Thurman
that year,
I remember, and Corliss Williamson.
And Corliss Williamson, yes.
And now, and then the following year they got back to the title game, but they got upended by UCLA in the Kingdome. So
yes,
but I think it's the best Arkansas team we've probably seen since then. I mean, it's been a very long time since Arkansas has had any relevancy in basketball, and John Calipari has brought them back to prominence. But credit to High Point, man. I am very happy for High Point for them to get this far, and I'm very thankful for that upset that they pulled. I mean, I took a chance on them to beat Wisconsin, and the gamble paid off, and I, for one, am truly grateful for that. And I'll never forget High Point for that. And they almost did it again tonight, but a great year for High Point. But Arkansas, they're on a roll right now. John Calipari, I mean, he's tournament tested. he took UMass to the title game, and actually it was the Final Four. I'm sorry, it was the Final Four. UMass got upended in the Final Four. That's right. That insane team they had in '96 with Marcus Camby and them when they were the dominant team, and I thought they were going to go all the way, but they didn't. But in Memphis and Kentucky and what he's doing with Arkansas, just incredible. It's one of his personal best coaching jobs that I've seen. So congrats to Arkansas. Fine day in the tournament. Yeah, it was a mostly boring day, but we did get some exciting finishes at the end of the night. So that's always good. So, but Vandy and Nebraska, that's the game we're going to be talking about when it comes to this day. So with that being said, MF, let's set the table for the 8 games that you'll see across the family of networks tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to start it out basically same time as we did today at high noon at 12 o'clock from St. Louis, Missouri at the Enterprise Center. It's number 7, Miami, going up against the number 2 seed, the Purdue Boilermakers from the West Regional. And then the second game, also from the Midwest region, the number 7 Kentucky Wildcats. They go up against the number 2 Iowa State Cyclones. That also will be from the Enterprise Center, roughly about 2:45, close to 3 o'clock. Then at 5:15 on CBS, it's the big one. Huh?
You called it. You said that this you had the time. You nailed the time on this one. Big ups to you.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you said this could be a 5:15 game, and I think the schedule makers heard you.
Well, 5:15 CBS from San Diego, California.
Game
the number 5 St. John Red Storm and the Kansas Jayhawks, the East Regional, and the winner plays Duke in Washington D.C. So yeah, so big game on that one. Then from Philadelphia, at 6:10 on TNT, the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers versus the number 3 Virginia Cavaliers from the Midwest region. Then at 7:10 from Tampa, it is the number 1 seed of Florida Gators versus the number 9 Iowa Hawkeyes at 7:10 on TBS. Then the second game from San Diego, the number 1 seed, the Arizona Wildcats, they go up against the number 9 Utah State West Regional, and the final 2 games, 8:45 from Philadelphia on TNT, another big one. UCLA goes 1-on-1 with UConn. That's at roughly around 9 o'clock. I think they say 8:45. And then the final game of the night at 9:45 on TBS from Tampa, Florida, the number 5 Texas Tech Red Raiders versus the number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide. So that's the games. That's the second round. That goes down tomorrow, and we are done. We're out of here, folks. So on Tuesday night, another edition of Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. Then on Thursday, we come back. Another edition of TXN Sports World. We're previewing Major League Baseball. It's the baseball preview. And I do believe, isn't this also right around the same time when we start the spring football, Anthony? The UFL?
UFL comes back on Friday.
Then Friday. We're previewing the UFL as well, week 1. We got that. And, of course, we'll have Sweet 16 coverage as well. That'll be around 10:30. So be ready, folks. So we may have bonus commentary as well for the Sweet 16 matchups. We'll wait and see. But until then, and then 1 week from now, another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. So for Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good night, and we'll see you all on Tuesday.
Goodbye.